There's a $2 powder that can bring dying plants back to life. Not slowly, not slightly healthier. We're talking greener leaves in days, stronger roots in weeks. In some cases, growth rates nearly tripling compared to untreated soil. And farmers have quietly used versions of this trick for centuries. The strange part? Most people walk right past it every time they enter a garden store, because the active ingredient isn't hidden in some futuristic laboratory. It's a naturally occurring mineral powder that ancient civilizations were spreading into soil long before modern fertilizer companies existed. And once you understand what it actually does inside the ground, the entire fertilizer industry starts looking very different. In the volcanic valleys surrounding Mount Etna in Sicily nearly 2,000 years ago, Roman farmers noticed something strange. Crops grown near dark volcanic rock deposits grew taller, greener, and survived droughts longer than crops planted only a few miles away. Roman agricultural writers like Columella documented these observations as early as the 1st century AD. Farmers crushed porous volcanic stone into fine powder and scattered it into exhausted soil before planting wheat and olives. They didn't know words like cation exchange capacity. They didn't need to. They only knew the fields stayed alive longer. Centuries later, across the Pacific, Japanese farmers discovered something eerily similar. In rural regions surrounding Kyushu during the Edo period, growers mixed crushed volcanic ash into rice paddies to restore depleted land after repeated harvests. The yields increased, the roots thickened, and water stayed in the soil dramatically longer during hot summers. Meanwhile, in West Africa, long before industrial agriculture arrived, farmers near volcanic highlands in Cameroon and Tanzania mixed powdered mineral-rich rock into planting beds to revive nutrient-dead soil. The same pattern kept repeating across civilizations separated by oceans, different cultures, different climates, same discovery. Crushed volcanic minerals changed soil in ways ordinary compost could not. And modern science eventually figured out why. The powder acts like a microscopic mineral reservoir. Imagine millions of tiny porous batteries buried beneath your plants. These particles hold potassium, calcium, magnesium, iron, and trace minerals inside microscopic cavities, slowly releasing nutrients exactly when roots need them. But that's only part of the story. The real magic happens underground. Healthy soil isn't dirt, it's a living ecosystem. A single teaspoon of fertile soil contains billions of microorganisms, bacteria, fungi, nematodes, microscopic networks constantly exchanging nutrients with plant roots. Modern chemical fertilizers often flood plants with fast nitrogen spikes. Plants grow quickly at first, but the soil biology weakens over time. It becomes dependent, like forcing a body to survive entirely on sugar. Mineral powders work differently. They rebuild the ecosystem itself. In 1893, researchers studying volcanic soils in Germany noticed that mineral-rich soils retained water dramatically longer during dry periods. By the 1930s, agricultural laboratories in Japan and Italy began publishing observations showing improved root density and stronger microbial activity in soils amended with volcanic minerals. Then came the breakthrough studies. In the late 20th century, researchers at universities in Australia and New Zealand began testing mineral powders like basalt rock dust and zeolite under controlled agricultural conditions. Some trials showed measurable increases in water retention, exceeding 30%. Think about that for a moment. 30% more water staying available to roots during heat waves. That alone can mean the difference between survival and total crop failure. And the powder costs less than a cup of coffee. Farmers noticed another effect too. Plants treated with mineral-rich powders often became more resistant to fungal infections and environmental stress. Leaves thickened. Root systems spread wider underground. Some growers described the transformation as plants waking up. Because in many cases, they were. The soil had simply been starved for minerals modern farming gradually stripped away. You can actually see this happening visually. Dead soil often looks pale and compacted, almost dusty. Healthy mineralized soil becomes darker, looser, slightly sponge-like. Water sinks in instead of pooling on top. Life returns underground first, then above the surface. And if forgotten knowledge like this matters to you, subscribe and ring the bell. Because this channel exists for one reason: to dig through the buried layers of history, science, and industry until we find what actually works. But here's where the story takes a darker turn. Because by the mid-20th century, industrial agriculture had become one of the most profitable industries on Earth. Synthetic fertilizers created recurring dependency. Crops needed repeated applications every season, more products, more treatments, more depletion. And then researchers started rediscovering cheap mineral powders that improved soil naturally for years at a time. That's when someone in a boardroom did the math. The global fertilizer industry is worth well over $200 billion annually. Nitrogen fertilizers alone account for massive recurring revenue because they create short-term explosive growth. Farmers see immediate results: bright green leaves, rapid expansion, faster production cycles. But there's a hidden cost. Many synthetic fertilizers behave like financial debt for soil. They feed plants directly while gradually weakening the underground ecosystem that naturally cycles nutrients over time. Soil becomes harder, more acidic, less biologically active, which means farmers often need even more fertilizer the next season. And that cycle is extraordinarily profitable. Now compare that model to a $2 mineral powder that can remain active in soil for years, not weeks. Years. A permanent low-cost solution does not fit comfortably inside a recurring revenue system. Suppression rarely looks dramatic. No secret meetings in underground bunkers, no mysterious black helicopters. Real suppression is quieter. It happens through emission, through marketing, through shelf placement, through complex ingredient labels ordinary people never read. Walk into a modern garden center and you'll often see premium soil revitalizers selling for $20 or $30 per bag. Look closely at the ingredient list, and many contain the same mineral compounds ancient farmers used centuries ago. Basalt dust, zeolite, volcanic ash, paramagnetic rock minerals. Same science, different packaging, 10 times the price. Some commercial soil boosters dilute the active mineral content dramatically, then compensate with synthetic nitrogen to create faster visible results. Why? Because slow ecosystem restoration doesn't produce addictive short-term spikes. Fast visible growth sells better, even if long-term soil health suffers. And then there's regulation. In several countries, agricultural standards historically favored highly soluble chemical fertilizers because they produce standardized measurable nutrient outputs. Mineral soil amendments often fell into confusing regulatory categories: not fully fertilizer, not fully soil conditioner. That ambiguity kept many low-cost mineral products out of mainstream retail systems for decades. Meanwhile, industrial agriculture consolidated globally. A handful of massive corporations gained enormous influence over seed systems, fertilizer distribution, and farming practices. And most homeowners never heard a word about mineral restoration. Think about every dying plant people throw away each year. Houseplants, garden beds, raised vegetable boxes, tomato plants, fruit trees, entire lawns. Most people assume the solution is simply more fertilizer. But dead soil cannot stay alive forever on chemical stimulation alone. That's like trying to rebuild a collapsing house by painting the walls brighter. The structure underneath still matters. Modern science has repeatedly confirmed this. Researchers at the University of Hawaii studied volcanic mineral amendments and found improved nutrient retention in tropical soils prone to depletion. Agricultural studies in Brazil observed stronger microbial activity in mineral-amended farmland. In Australia, trials involving basalt rock dust demonstrated improved soil remineralization and moisture stability under drought conditions. The mechanism is surprisingly elegant. The microscopic porous structure of these minerals acts almost like a sponge crossed with a battery. Nutrients attach to mineral surfaces instead of washing away immediately during watering or rain. So instead of one violent nutrient spike followed by depletion, plants receive slower, steadier access over time. Healthy forests already work this way naturally. Industrial agriculture interrupted that cycle. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. If you've watched this far, you already understand more about soil restoration than most people buying expensive fertilizer products every spring. Subscribe and share this, because knowledge like this survives only when ordinary people pass it to each other directly. Now here's the part almost nobody talks about. Mineral-deficient soil also affects nutritional quality. Several agricultural researchers have warned for years that modern intensive farming may reduce trace mineral density in crops over time, meaning food can appear healthy visually while containing fewer micronutrients beneath the surface. Let that sink in. The problem isn't only dying plants, it's exhausted land itself. And the solution has existed since Roman farmers crushed volcanic stone beside Mediterranean fields 2,000 years ago. The industry didn't need to completely erase the knowledge, it only needed to make it feel old-fashioned, outdated, primitive. But chemistry doesn't care about branding, and soil biology doesn't care about quarterly profits, which brings us to the simplest part of this entire story. Actually using it. Here's exactly what to do. And it's almost insultingly simple. The powder you're looking for is usually sold as basalt rock dust, volcanic rock dust, or natural zeolite powder. You can find it at garden centers, farm supply stores, hydroponic shops, or online. A 5 to 10 pound bag often costs between $8 and $15, which breaks down to roughly $1 or $2 per treatment for most household gardens. Look for finely ground powder, not decorative gravel. The texture should feel almost like flour or soft ash. Dark gray is common for basalt. Zeolite often appears pale gray or light tan. Now take a standard bucket and mix roughly 1 cup of powder into 2 gallons of soil for container plants. For raised beds, use about 5 to 10 pounds per 100 square feet. You don't need precision laboratory measurements. Ancient farmers certainly didn't use digital scales. The goal is even distribution. If the soil is extremely depleted, dry, or compacted, combine the powder with compost or worm castings. The mineral particles feed the microbial ecosystem while compost introduces biological activity. That combination is powerful. Next comes watering. And this matters. Once the powder is mixed into soil, water slowly and deeply. You want the minerals settling into the root zone rather than sitting dry on the surface. The soil should feel moist, but not swampy. Think dark chocolate cake, not mud. Within days, you may notice subtle changes. Leaves often become slightly darker green first. Then new growth begins appearing stronger and thicker. The biggest transformation usually happens underground before you see it above ground. Root systems expand, microbial colonies recover, water retention improves, and over several weeks, struggling plants often stop looking fragile. They stabilize. For dying houseplants, the process is even simpler. Sprinkle 1 to 2 tablespoons into the top layer of soil around the base. Gently mix it into the first inch, then water thoroughly. Total cost? Often less than 50 cents per plant. Compare that to replacing the plant entirely, or constantly buying synthetic liquid fertilizers every month. For vegetable gardens, many growers apply mineral powder once at the beginning of each planting season. Some farmers using remineralization techniques report healthier tomatoes, peppers, squash, and cucumbers, even during hotter summers with reduced watering frequency. And there's a scientific reason for that. Mineralized soil holds nutrients and moisture more effectively, which reduces stress during heat exposure. The soil becomes more resilient. So do the plants. There's another variation old farmers quietly use too. Some mixed small amounts of wood ash alongside mineral powder to add potassium and balance acidic soil. Others combine volcanic minerals with crushed biochar, creating an underground structure that retained nutrients for years. Indigenous farming systems in parts of South America used similar approaches centuries ago in what researchers now call terra preta soils, some of the most fertile human-created soils ever studied. Again, the same pattern keeps appearing throughout history. Different people, same discovery. Healthy soil is built slowly from minerals, biology, and time, not just chemical force feeding. A mechanic-turned-homesteader in rural Montana tested basalt dust on a struggling backyard tomato patch during the 2022 drought season. According to his own measurements, untreated plants wilted repeatedly during extreme heat, while the remineralized beds retained moisture longer and produced larger fruit late into the season. Same sun, same water source, different soil structure. That's the difference. And once you start noticing it, you begin seeing the same principle everywhere in nature. Forest floors constantly recycle minerals from decomposing rock and organic matter. Volcanic regions often become some of the most fertile agricultural zones on Earth. Nature has always known this. Industrial systems simply monetized forgetting it. Roman farmers knew it. Japanese rice growers knew it. West African agricultural communities knew it. Indigenous South American builders knew it. Your great-grandparents probably knew versions of it too. But a multi-billion-dollar fertilizer industry depends on most people believing healthy soil only comes from expensive recurring chemical products. A $2 mineral powder quietly threatens that assumption. Because this knowledge never disappeared. It was simply priced out of your awareness. And the strangest part? The Earth itself has been manufacturing this solution for millions of years completely free of charge. No patents, no subscriptions, no licensing fees. Just geology, just chemistry, just time. Every share cracks the wall they spent decades building around forgotten knowledge like this. Every subscription keeps this channel digging deeper into the vaults they hoped would stay sealed forever. And the next vault opens soon, because there's another forgotten powder. One ancient builders used to make wood nearly fireproof, and almost nobody today realizes it still exists.